Welcome to Lumos Scientific's Specific Aims Page Introduction. Here we'll discuss some of the key elements of a great Aims page and then guide you through each element as we build your Aims page together. First, let's discuss what your Aims page should accomplish. Think of your Aims page as a one-page marketing brochure for you to sell your research. Think of the reviewers as your customers or investors. They must be convinced to advocate for your work in their review panel. So you'll need to convince them of the significance and impact of your proposed research using clear and believable statements of an unmet need or problem, and that your research will provide the answer. You'll need to convince them that the work is new and innovative, and you'll need to convince them that your hypothesis is rational, your research design is sound, and that once you've completed your research, the impact on the problem you're addressing will be clear. The Aims page must resonate with the reviewer and excite them to be your advocate during peer review. We'll prompt you for specific information aimed to describe the problem you are addressing, the rationale and purpose of your study, which is usually based on your new preliminary data, your hypothesis, your aims, and the overall impact of your research should you be successful. As you craft the actual aims, you'll want to ensure that the reviewers can clearly understand your research objectives and the experimental approaches that you'll use. The aims must be supported by a solid rationale, which consists of a mix of published literature and your innovative preliminary data. The aims must collectively test the central hypothesis. The aims must have a clear endpoint and yield useful information regardless of the outcome. The aims must be related in that they are all testing the overall hypothesis, but also be independent of one another. And the aims must be feasible with the time and money requested, and they should be similar in scope. Aims are action statements, so you'll want to use active verbs that convey a clear endpoint. Strong verbs such as determine, identify, define, discover, and elucidate. You'll want to stay away from weak verbs that are descriptive. Following each aim, you'll include 3 to 5 sentences that convey a rationale for the proposed experiments, if further rationale is needed, a description of what the experiments will accomplish, and in general, you'll provide about 3 related sub-aims for each aim. Each aim should provide important information that addresses the overarching problem. Make the aims statements simple, clear, and concise. With a well-designed aim, success is not dependent on any single outcome. With an unacceptable aim, only one possible outcome is interesting, and success of a subsequent aim is dependent on this outcome. Fatally flawed aims are those that are too descriptive, unfocused, obvious, naive, or uninterpretable. Hypothesis-generating aims, such as screening, also known as fishing expeditions, are also poorly reviewed. As you review your aims, ask yourself, do my specific aims address the research goals and objectives? Did I state my hypothesis and link them appropriately to my specific aims? Are the specific aims clearly related to each other? And do the specific aims represent an achievable amount of work and for the requested budget? Finally, we'd like to leave you with a few parting notes. Although a grant cannot be won with the aims page alone, a proposal can be lost. If the aims page is confusing, boring, or overly controversial, then reviewers will become alienated and are not likely to advocate for your grant. The best writing is simple and direct. Use no more words than necessary, and don't use a complicated word if a simpler one will do. Simple and direct is more easily understood and also tends to be more memorable. The aims page should make the overall plan as simple as possible, but not simpler, and include only need-to-know information. And the aims page should be written to a non-expert scientist. You should save the field-specific details for the research strategy section. Now it's your turn. Just fill in the information under each prompt, and when you're done, you can route it to your mentors for feedback. It's that simple.